See prize cards for Michael Pramawat. Nothing really important there. He is playing that Zoroark Lycanroc deck that we saw yesterday. Very successful. He won his match very quickly yesterday. Yoshi's side, I bet we're going to see some fun stuff in his prizes.
That's right.
Gladion, Acerola, Team Skull Grunt, and 2 Team Rocket's Handiwork. That's right, folks. He is trying to deck out his opponent.
Yep, he likes to build up a nice big wall and start to take away every resource you've ever had.
So here we go, round 10 here at the Memphis Regional Championships, and we begin the match with Michael Pramawat reading his opponent's card.
That's right, that is the Xurkitree, the Ultra Beast, and it doesn't like special energy cards attacking into it, so Michael's going to have to find a way around that, and his deck doesn't play too many basic energy cards.
Yeah, the Xurkitree-GX has that flashing head ability, and it says if your opponent's Pokemon have special energy attached, they can't do damage to Xurkitree-GX. And like you said, there are like 2 basic energy in Pramawat's deck. It's going to be a real struggle for him to get through that card.
Yeah, realistically, that means that Rockruff is an attacker, and maybe Lycanroc he could sneak in, but I don't see Yoshi benching too many Pokemon to allow that to happen.
Now we do see Pramawat starting off with the Wonder Tag for that Bridget, getting down 2 Zorua and a Rockruff. You know, most of the time this would seem like an amazing start. He would be getting a knockout on his second turn, probably with Zoroark-GX and maybe Bloodthirsty Eyes from Lycanroc-GX. But I think he understands he's going to have to play this a little slower. Conserving his resources will be incredibly important. And, you know, you just have to play intelligently against this as you see a Skyla from Yoshi.
That's right. Now, Yoshi has a little bit of a setup with his deck where he can have multiple Lusamine and that Handiwork, and he can continue to just keep cycling the same cards over and over again. If he uses the Lusamine, he can grab another Lusamine and that Team Rocket's Handiwork, and he can just continue to deck away his opponent.
Yeah, if any of you watching remember back to the U.S. National Championships with Enrique Avila and that Wailord deck, this is essentially the second coming of that deck. It is all about sending out giant basic Pokemon that your opponent will struggle to knock out. You see Xurkitree-GX in the active spot with that flashing head ability, preventing any decks with heavy special energy from getting easy knockouts. You see the Hoopa on the bench with the Scoundrel Guard ability, which is very similar to Safeguard abilities. It can't be hurt by Pokemon GX or EX. And we also see Wishiwashi-GX in his deck, which is basically a slightly smaller Wailord EX.
Yeah, a little less HP, but the same heart.
Pramawat does start off with double Zoroark-GX, smartly pitching that enhanced hammer, realizing that won't have any effect in this matchup, and begins with using both of his trade abilities. Also gets rid of the Acerola, understanding my Pokemon aren't going to get damaged.
That's right. He doesn't have to worry about either of those cards coming into play. And it looks like Michael's going to go ahead and attach here to his Tapu Lele. Can't do any damage, but can get this retreat off and start focusing on his main attacker. Good old Rockruff.
Yeah, that might sound like a joke, but that is not a joke. Rockruff will have to be Pramawat's main attacker in this matchup. Hoopa is just immune to all these big Pokemon GX. Xurkitree, it can't be hurt by things with special energy. The only way Pramawat can really win is attaching basic fighting energy to his Rockruff and slowly whittling him away with Tackle.
Yeah. Here comes the first Handiwork. One heads. Looking for 2 more cards.
And we got 2 heads.
Oh, wow. Now, the one thing Mike doesn't want to lose here is basic fighting energies, and it looks like he was able to dodge that.
Yeah, so 4 cards get discarded, but none were extremely relevant. And we'll see if he can find one of those fighting energy to start attacking. There's also an element of, you know, you need to wait for the right moments to attack. that you don't just want to throw your energy out there and be like, tackle 20.
You're right.
You want to wait till you have Choice Band in your hand, maybe wait till you also have an N, so you can play down the energy of the Choice Band and N, try to lower Yoshi's hand size and make it so he can't find those cards like Crushing Hammer to remove your energy.
Right. Now, Michael wisely attaching the strong energy to the benched Rockruff. This means that he's potentially setting up for a Guzma play on that Hoopa, where if he gets 2 strong energies, Rock Throw is actually enough to take this Hoopa down.
Sure is. And take a look at Yoshi's hand. We see the Wishiwashi-GX, a puzzle of time, all sorts of things we're not used to seeing. We also see the Plumeria in his hand. He was debating playing that supporter card. It's you discard 2 cards from your hand to discard one of your opponent's energy, but that is very costly in a deck like this where you don't really have any draw cards. You're just banking on your top card every turn and buying time. He decides to go for the N instead.
Yeah, I think this is a wise play from him. He's not under any pressure, really. Just wants to have that bank of cards to go to in his hand for whatever Michael's going to do. Yoshi's going to be very reactive in this matchup.
Indeed. Now, something interesting, the Wailord deck played 0 energy cards, but this deck plays an energy card, a single lightning energy, so you can use Xurkitree's-GX attack. Maybe we'll see that come into play at some point.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta sneak an extra pip onto our prize cards over here.
Oh, true.
We weren't ready for that.
No. Didn't even think of that. All right, so we do see the fighting energy go down onto Rockruff and Professor Kukui. That's going to be an extra 20 damage. So we're going to see the biggest tackle ever, 60 damage.
Yeah, with a Choice Band, it would have been a lot stronger, but yeah. Michael knows that this N may have affected Yoshi negatively. Maybe he doesn't have the cards to answer this fighting energy right now. So he saw the chance to go in, but that's not what he wants to see. He lost one of his fighting energies.
Team Flare Grunt discards the fighting energy from that Rockruff. And Yoshi gonna end his turn the same way he will 99% of the time, pass.
Yep. I see Michael wisely holding on to his puzzles of time. He's gonna be able to grab 2 fighting energies at a time each time he does this. And it looks like he still hasn't able to find a Choice Band, which is pretty unfortunate. He'd really like to put some more pressure than 20 damage here.
Yeah, especially considering we're going to see Max Potion and Acerola at some point from Yoshi. And you can see just how he got to this 7-0-2 record. There's just some decks that cannot deal with what he's facing them with, right? The Xurkitree-GX. There's some decks in this tournament that don't play any basic energy. And he wins the game on the spot with this one card.
Yep.
There are some decks that don't have any non-GX or EX Pokemon. And Hoopa wins the game on the spot. And there we do see the Max Potion and another Team Flare Grunt.
Wow.
Now both fighting energy in the discard pile for Michael Pramawat.
Yeah, and now it's up to Pramawat to find the right spot to use these puzzles of time. It looks like he's going to continue to draw, looking for that Choice Band so that he can at least start doing 80 damage a turn. And I don't think he's going to be content right now doing that. He might just hold his puzzle pieces and attach this strong energy to the back Rockruff. No, it looks like he's ready. might as well just put these into his hand now.
Yeah, so double puzzle of time for 2 basic fighting energy. That is the flexibility that Puzzle of Time gives you, but typically you find more exciting cards than basic energy.
Yeah.
He basically played a very inefficient energy retrieval. So now back to Yoshi's turn. We see some other interesting cards in his hand. The Counter Catcher. You do not take prize cards with this deck, so a lot of the time that's just going to be a Lysander effect, but not taking your supporter for the turn. And there we do see Luzamine getting back 2 supporter cards to Team Flare Grunt right back into Yoshi's hand. Luzamine is a little slow for a lot of decks, but slow is the name of the game for Yoshi, so he can afford to play this supporter card to get back 2 of them.
Yeah, that's exactly what Yoshi wants, and he knows that this is the way he's got to go through. He's going to have to go through 6 of these energies, and Michael, on the other hand, he's finally going to start doing some real damage. This is going to be a Rock Throw for 100, or no, he's got the Lycanroc now.
Oh, okay.
He can actually just go for a dangerous rogue right now.
Yeah, with the Choice Band. He can Dangerous Rogue GX, knocking out the Xurkitree-GX. So he will take 2 prize cards, and more importantly, leave Yoshi with only 1 Pokemon in play. He just has that Hoopa, and if Pramawat can find another strong energy, he can just knock out Hoopa with the Rockruff on the bench. So even though Yoshi has those Team Flare Grunts in hand, he cannot remove the strong energy from the bench Rockruff unless he has like an enhanced hammer.
Yeah, or if he had a Plumeria, he could have taken it away on the back there, and he doesn't have to worry about this Lycanroc anymore. But maybe if he takes away this energy, Michael won't have a way to retreat.
And Pramawat reading another of the new Ultra Beast cards, Celesteela-GX. It's a massive 200 HP Pokemon GX with a resistance to fighting. Yeah. So this could be a big wall in this matchup. Pramawat's going for it right away with the Guzma and double colorless energy on Zoroark-GX. And he's going to hit for 120 damage.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was going to find a way to use these double colorless energies efficiently, but when Celesteela down, he's got a Pokemon that he can attack into, and that's a 2-hit knockout setup. So we'll see if Mike's able to continue to take these prize cards so efficiently like he has.
See the nest ball for Yoshi. A lot of the time with these stall decks, there is kind of a breaking point where if you face enough pressure, sometimes you can break them down before they have an opportunity to find all their max potions and energy removal cards. But there is going to be a point in the game where if Yoshi can buy enough time, he can kind of get over the hump and make it so that Pramawat just can't do anything anymore. And that's when you see those Team Rocket's handiworks come out and really start to put the pressure on.
Yep, big crushing hammer flip here.
Looks like we got a Tails. That energy is safe.
Yep, he does have Acerola, so he's going to be able to go and hide behind one of these Hoopas here. Knows that he is safe from everything but that Rockruff, which is generally something you don't get to say. But right. Wow.
Second strong energy on the Rockruff. And it looks like we're going to see even a Float Stone on Zoroark-GX. And Rock Throw for the knockout thanks to those 2 strong energy. And Yoshi is on the back foot here. Pramawat down to 3 prize cards. And Yoshi just has Team Flare Grunt. He's going to have to bench that Celesteela again to avoid getting benched out.
Yeah, we see him contemplating it here. He's also got the Wishiwashi, but if we're going to focus on the Celesteela, it's got that resistance to fighting, which can help him out against a lot of Michael's Pokemon.
Oh, he just top decks another strong energy. This Rockruff is strong. It's going in with the Rock Throw, taking down Hoopa, and he's down to 2 prizes.
That is one strong Rockruff right there, I'll tell you what.
And at this point, it feels like the only way Yoshi can win is if he finds double Puzzle of Time and gets back his Xurkitree-GX. At this point, it is pretty much game if he can pull out that Xurkitree-GX again and get it as his only Pokemon in play. There are no Pokemon that can really attack anymore. The 1 fighting energy is on that Lycanroc-GX. There's only 2 in his deck, and, well, there's the other one going to the discard pile.
Yep.
And the Rockruff has special energy on it. So if Yoshi can actually get Xurkitree-GX back out, it might be enough to lock this game out for him.
Yeah, he'd even be able to use his GX attack and get an extra prize card there just in case one of these big GX Pokemon were to be knocked out. It'd put Michael back on an odd prize count. But Michael's just going to keep on going. Nice, consistent 120 damage, and the pressure's really been on Yoshi this whole game here.
So we see Max Potion healing off. Oh, that's Acerola, actually, returning that Celesteela-GX to his hand. And Yoshi is really under a lot of pressure, only has 3 cards in hand. Pramawat just going to continue to use Riotous Beating. And it just does not look good for our Wishiwashi player right now.
Was able to find a Skyla here, which means he can buy himself another turn if he wants to get a max potion. But I don't know if that's what he wants to be going for. It's kind of running out of options here, and he might have to do something a little more risky.
Yeah, depending on his hand, this could be great for him. I thought he had a max potion in hand. I could be wrong. But if he does... yeah, he has 1 Puzzle of Time in hand already. He can Skyla for the second one and set up a play where, this turn he max potions. Next turn he can play double Puzzle of Time, grab Acerola and the Xurkitree, and just present a board that only has Xurkitree-GX and say, all right, good luck.
Try to beat this.
So it looks like he will grab Puzzle of Time, and we'll see if he decides to hold it or if he's forced to play both of them this turn.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the rest of his hand has for him here. If he does have that max potion like you were talking about, that'd be very good for him. Looks like we're going to go ahead and use the puzzle here.
So double Puzzle of Time coming out. And what 2 cards will he take? Gotta think max potion, definitely one of them. But what is the other one?
Yeah, it looks like he's eyeing up N. Knows that he's going to need more than 1 card off the top of his deck to get him the rest of the way, and he's going to be hoping that N can get him there.
Yeah, seems like it. So there we do see max potion wiping away that damage from Wishiwashi-GX. Yoshi has not been able to find any enhanced hammers to discard the special energy from his opponent's Pokemon. So that Zoroark's Riotous Beating is just, hey, 2-hit knockout.
Knocking on the door.
If you don't do anything, I'm just going to knock you out eventually. And Yoshi debating if he wants to bench Celesteela-GX here, which he does. And he's going to pass the turn once again.
Yeah, it feels like Yoshi's going to be just 1 turn behind if he's not able to find a max potion and a solid supporter to help him out. Looking over at what Mike has left, he's only got 5 cards in his deck, so if he doesn't play an N of his own, there's a chance that he could just get decked out by 2 heads in a coming turn or 2.
Yeah, Team Rocket's handiwork is always a threat. You see the Energy Lotto not grabbing anything. And yeah, looks like he has about 5 cards left. So he's not in danger of losing just yet. But after this trade, he could be.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way for him to win this turn. Even Lycanroc-GX with 3 strong energy. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know if that would have the resistance included on the
Celesteela.
Celesteela.
200, yeah.
Yeah.
He could be overlooking the fighting resistance.
Oh, he's got the Kukui there.
Professor Kukui. Never mind, that's it. If he has Lycanroc-GX in hand, he can... That's it.
Yeah, he found it.
110 damage, but it's plus 110. That's it.
Yeah.
Claw Slash takes down Wishiwashi-GX, and looks like Michael Pramawat has figured out a way to take down Yoshi's strange Xurkitree, Hoopa, Wishiwashi. And you can see just why Pramawat is one of the game's best. He understands exactly how to attack this kind of a matchup. He's been playing for a long time. He's seen a lot of these kinds of decks before, and I'm sure he's even played several of them. So he knows exactly how to attack them. And, for Yoshi, you could see points in the game where if he had 1 or 2 different cards, perhaps he could have won.
Yeah.
But that is just what can happen with his style of deck, where you don't have the luxury of, say, Zoroark-GX to draw extra cards. You're just kind of depending on your top card every turn. And if you don't draw the right ones, sometimes your Pokemon just get knocked out before you can heal them enough.
I'm sure that Michael's also very happy that he chose the right Rockruff for his deck. If he were to be playing Corner or the Wild Kicker, he wouldn't really have any answers to taking out some of these Pokemon that Yoshi presents.
Yeah, and I have seen that in previous rounds when I was watching Yoshi play. His opponents, boy. That might not be so bad. Pram does play a lot of Rockruff in his deck, and Field Blower isn't doing anything. But yeah, Yoshi, I saw him play against other Lycanroc players where it had the Wild Kick Rockruff, and a lot of those games were coming down to coin flips. If you flip heads, you do the 30 damage, and if tails, you do nothing. And I saw several games where it was just like, well, they got a strong energy on the Rockruff, and they got a Regirock on their bench, and it just, if they flip heads, they knock out Hoopa. Tails, nothing happens.
Just gonna do it.
And yeah, I saw one game come down to an actual Wild Kick flip. The guy flipped tails. And then his energy got removed.
Yeah, that seems like what Yoshi's been looking for, and unfortunately not going to find that here in Pramawat.
Yeah, so here we are setting up for Game 2 here in round 10 at the Memphis Regional Championships between Michael Pramawat and Yehoshua Tate. We'll see if Yoshi can rebound in Game 2. One of the downsides of his deck is that it can't really win a fast game. The only way you win is by decking out your opponent, and that just takes time.
Right. It's much faster than Wailord used to be because you have access to that handiwork, but it's going to be pretty difficult to take down 2 games in 30 minutes.
So Yoshi begins the game with that Hoopa, and he's going to play Gladion. So he gets to look through his prize cards, take one of them, and then swap it with Gladion. We saw there was a Hoopa in his prize cards, along with a bunch of supporters, so we'll see which card he wants to take here.
Yeah, it looks like he's eyeing up that N. He'd like to have some options after this hand goes dry. He had to search out the last time with a Skyla, and it was just so slow. He ended up running out of some turns. So maybe if he's got this play to go and get 6 extra cards whenever he needs to, that'll help him out a little more than last game.
So we see Celesteela-GX going onto the bench, and Yoshi just going to pass his turn with the Hoopa active. Pramawat does start with the Rockruff, so this is perhaps his best starter in the matchup, being able to put on immediate pressure with Tackle.
Yep, I'm sure Michael's also looking through making sure that none of his 2 fighting energies are prized, because that would mean attacks are a lot more difficult to go through the Xurkitree.
Absolutely. It's not very often you look for, all right, are all my energy here? So we do see the first turn, Bridget, once again from Michael, and he gets 2 Zorua and another Rockruff down. He did have quite a good start in the first game that helped him put on a lot of pressure. And it looks like that will be the case once again, already getting those 2 Zorua down so he can perhaps get Zoroark-GX up and running and trade into some good cards.
Yep. Unfortunately for Michael, didn't have the strong energy to apply a little bit of pressure to this Hoopa here, but it looks like he's going to have a pretty strong setup with all these potential Zoroarks coming into play for trades.
Wishiwashi-GX goes onto the bench for Yoshi and an N. So he's going to be hoping to, fill his hand with some better cards, maybe some hammers or some max potions. He's basically just hoping for as much time as possible to build resources in his hand so that once Pramawat does start attacking, he can have an answer.
That's right. I feel like he really wants to get that Xurkitree down in this matchup. It's so difficult for Michael to only have 2 basic energies to go to whenever he wants to attack. And if he gets that out without benching too many Pokemon, he'll be in a spot where he can just make the prize cards irrelevant. There's no Guzma plays around the Xurkitree. You're going to have to attack through it.
Draw. So we see him pass the turn after the N. He does have Bridget in hand for next turn, so he can search for that Xurkitree-GX and perhaps a couple other Pokemon if he wants to. We see the first trade from Pramawat gets that Zoroark-GX down, and Professor Kukui is the supporter of choice for the turn. Does have a basic fighting energy, but also double colors energy. And it looks like he's going to slap that down and go for the big tackle for 60.
Yeah, either energy would do the same amount of work here, so it doesn't have to worry about that. He can just go ahead and play this down, and well, I believe it's before weakness, so yeah. They're going to catch that for us. But it's nice to hold on to that basic fighting energy for when you actually have to play it down. If you can play these double colorless, they're not going to be as efficient in the matchup.
Plus 20 is 60.
And we do see, looks like Team Skull Grunt. Yoshi going to look at Pramawat's hand, and he nails the basic fighting energy and double colorless energy. That is a huge Team Skull Grunt. Wow. We see Team Flare Grunt quite a bit, but Team Skull Grunt, not a card we see very often, and Yoshi hits gold with that one.
Yeah, he found the perfect spot to play that at, and Michael doesn't have the puzzle of times like he did in his last game available to him right now. Was able to top deck a strong energy, so might be able to surprise Yoshi here with that and get a pretty good rock throw off.
Looks like it. He does draw strong energy for the turn, and Rockruff is putting in some work. See Choice Band going on to that Rockruff as well. And I'm sure heading into this tournament, Pramawat did not envision Rockruff being one of his main attackers in a matchup, but here we are. Rock Throw takes yet another knockout, and he puts some pressure on Yoshi once again in the early stages of the game.
Yep, looks like Yoshi's going to just go for these coin flips, try to remove some of Pramawat's deck. Would love to see some energies coming off the top here.
One heads this time. Getting rid of Acerola and N. Acerola, pretty worthless, but N potentially important.
Yeah, we saw last time Michael's deck got pretty slim, even though he was controlling the game the entire time. There was going to be an opportunity for Yoshi to deck him out if he had maybe 1 or 2 more turns. So if he doesn't have a way to shuffle his big hand back into his deck, maybe that'll just lock Pramawat out of the game.
So we see a trade from Zoroark-GX, and looks like just another Rock Throw this time for a mighty, looks like 70 damage.
That's pretty good.
That does put Wishiwashi in range for a Claw Slash on the next turn with the strong energy and Choice Band. And we'll see what Yoshi does to respond. Looks like he has full of max potions in his hand. And I also see Team Flare Grunt. We'll see if he can find that Xurkitree-GX though.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be the big key to the matchup here for him. And he does have Bridget, so he's going to be able to search that out. May just grab himself that Xurkitree and a Hoopa, or maybe just the Xurkitree. I don't know if he wants to play too many Pokemon down into a potential dangerous rogue.
Yeah, there's 2 angles you look at it from. First is dangerous rogue, which can get an easy knockout on one of these big GXs if he benches too many things, but also just bloodthirsty eyes, easy targets. And Pramawat could go after, you know, say that Hoopa if Yoshi were to grab it here and just attach another strong energy and knock it out with Rockruff. So it looks like just 1 Pokemon off the Bridget. Not very efficient, but gets him what he needs.
That's all he needs.
That one Xurkitree-GX, and we do see Max Potion on Wishiwashi-GX. So this game looking a little better for Yoshi, but it looks like he does need to find some of those energy removal cards pretty soon.
Yeah, it's a very wise play here by Yoshi. He knew that the Rockruff would be a 3-hit knockout, but if he did have the Lycanroc available, then Pramawat was going to take a knockout there on his Wishiwashi, and you might as well buy yourself that turn while you can and not get greedy with that max potion.
Absolutely. So another Rock Throw for 70 damage onto Wishiwashi-GX. I think one card Yoshi wants here is Acerola. If he can pick up that Wishiwashi, and there it is. Returns it to his hand, and now he can promote that Xurkitree-GX. And there are no basic energy on Pramawat's field right now. One got discarded with that Team Skull Grunt earlier. Can he actually find a way to attack for damage through the Xurkitree? And, well, look at that. He draws his fighting energy.
Don't ever question Michael. He's going to find it. He does have that available to him. He could retreat his Rockruff and bring up another Rockruff. That would mean that he's got Tackle online for himself, but it looks like he wants to see a few more cards before he makes that decision, possibly find a Choice Band and get a little more damage down. Does have 1 puzzle time. I think he has a second in hand as well.
Yep. And he also has Fighting Energy plus the Choice Band.
Yeah, he's got it all right there for himself. So going to be some nice pressure here. Can go ahead and get 80 damage down, and that sets up for a Kukui knockout or a Rock Throw if he's able to find another basic energy card. That being, of course, with Yoshi not removing this fighting energy.
Man, this aggro Rockruff deck is intimidating, man.
You know, he got 25 points. I'm sure 0 of it was from Rockruff until just now.
So 80 damage onto Xurkitree-GX, now just 100 HP remaining. We'll see if Yoshi has another max potion. We do see Team Flare Grunt discarding that fighting energy. And you got to think if he has a max potion, he's going to want to play it here.
Yeah, you can't get greedy here. You're going to have to play this max potion now, or else the Kukui would take you out. So very wise play here from Yoshi, and he's just going to continue to remove these basic energies as much as he can. Bad
news for him, though. Double Puzzle of Time in Pramawat's hand. he can just get back both of those fighting energy from the discard and continue this relentless pressure from Rockruff.
Yeah, he's able to find both these energies now, continue to get 80 damage down, but using double puzzle here means that a little less likely to find Professor Kukui in a future turn, so that might limit his damage output and maybe only have a 3-hit knockout on the Xurkitrees available.
It's like Yoshi draws Field Blower for the turn. And, you know, if he can't discard that fighting energy, Pramawat's got the other one in his hand. He can simply Rock Throw for the knockout. And this is going to put Yoshi in a bad spot. If he has Acerola, this might be a time to use it. Looks like we have a Nest Ball searching for a basic Pokemon, so you can put it on his bench. Looks like his main options are another Wishiwashi, Hoopa, or maybe that Giratina as well.
Yeah, looks like he's going to be eyeing up Hoopa. It is pretty weak to this Rockruff here, but I don't know if he has much left. He doesn't have another Xurkitree to go to if this one is going to fall, and I would like to state how big that Field Blower is going to be, though. Removing this Choice Band could severely hinder how much damage Michael's going to be able to get.
Definitely. The only question is, can he remove the fighting energy? If not, we could see something like we saw in the first game with 2 fighting energy and a dangerous Rogue GX from Lycanroc-GX. Looks like Yoshi has Guzma. He's going to bring out Zoroark-GX and send out his Hoopa and kind of cross his fingers. Sometimes you just need to hope your opponent doesn't have the exact cards they need, but will Pramawat be able to? He has a lot of cards in his hand.
Yep, Pramawat now has that extra energy available to him. He could knock out this Hoopa alone with just Rockruff if he's able to find a way to retreat. I don't know if he has that available to him just yet. No Float Stones. There's the Float Stone there for him.
It's never a good sign when your opponent discards a Mallow.
I don't need these cards. I'm just going to keep going.
So Float Stone onto Zoroark-GX, and the second strong energy onto Rockruff. Going to Rock Throw for yet another knockout. Man, how do you beat Rockruff?
Oh, I think the answer is going to be Plumeria or a Crushing Hammer on this benched Rockruff, and you just ignore the active one with all these special energy cards. That Xurkitree is going to have to take him the rest of the way here.
And I think the problem is Yoshi just doesn't have enough cards in his hand. He has not had time to just sit back and draw cards. He's been under tons of pressure every single turn. Yeah, it seems silly, but every turn he's just been like, ugh, if I don't do something, I get knocked out. He hasn't ever had a turn to be like, all right, I can play it safe. I won't get knocked out. I can save this max potion for a future turn. No, every turn it's been, I have this max potion, I have to play it, otherwise my Pokemon gets knocked out.
Right. Even now he's under pressure. Just a Lycanroc and an energy puts his Xurkitree in range of being knocked out by a dangerous Rogue.
So we do see Skyla for the N. So Yoshi telegraphing that next turn an N is coming Pramawat's way. And he's just going to have to pass the turn. This could be a big opportunity for Pramawat if he can bring out that Xurkitree-GX on the bench and knock it out.
Yeah, and it looks like that's what he's eyeing up right now. He's going to go ahead and use his Zoroark trades. And, I mean, he's just got everything he could ever ask for in this big hand here.
Yeah, he found his other 2 puzzle of time at this point. Looks like Choice Band on the Rockruff, and here comes Guzma. Rockruff, you can't stop Rockruff, Kyle.
That's 100 damage coming down from Rockruff, and he has already taken, I believe, like 8 prizes in this game just alone of this match.
Wishiwashi going down for Yoshi, and once again finds himself just in a terrible position where he's going to need to draw kind of the perfect cards off of this N. You can still see potentially a way for him to win, but at this point, I mean, there's too much energy on Pramawat's side. Rockruff does enough damage to threaten that when Lycanroc-GX eventually comes out, you can just attack for the win. So each passing turn becomes more and more difficult for Yoshi to make it through.
That's right, and usually an end to 2 is going to be great for him. It will slow down his opponent, but Michael's just got 2 trades available to him, so he can refill his hand and get right back to where he was in probably just a turn or 2.
Do you see Counter Catcher bringing out one of those Zoroark-GX? Potentially this could buy him some time. As you said, we do have the trade abilities from Zoroark-GX, but there's a chance he won't find a way to get out of the active spot here. But oh no, double colorless energy. Pramawat drawing exactly what he needs to keep the pressure on once again.
That's right. He has 100 damage right here with a Riotous beating. Even gets to hold on to cards like Choice Band. He has another strong energy in his hand for Rockruff to come in and probably clean up the job. But that's going to be enough pressure to make Yoshi have to do something. He has Acerola in his hand, but a lot of his Pokemon are at risk right now. We could see that Kukui play one more time with 3 strong energies and a Choice Band on Lycanroc to win a game.
Yoshi is going for the Lusamine this turn. Is it going to be enough, though? It might just be too slow at this point. Getting back 2 supporter cards. Going to get an Acerola and perhaps a Team Flare Grunt or something like that. But, I mean, if he doesn't have Max Potion, he just loses.
Yeah, he needs to either have Max Potion or a way to remove this energy, and he's hoping that Michael can't get out of the active spot. I would hope that he has the Max Potion here if he's going to take a slow turn like this.
So it looks like Acerola and Team Flare Grunt are the 2 choices for our Celesteela Wishiwashi player. And there is the Max Potion healing off that damage once again. So Yoshi makes it through one more turn.
Yep. Now, Michael does need another puzzle of time and a piece of the Lycanroc strong energy or Choice Band to get the whole Kukui thing to work for him.
Well, he's got almost all of it.
Yeah, he's getting close. Is able to pick up that Lycanroc, but doesn't have the second puzzle piece, so looks like it's going to be just a tad slow.
Looks like that's all he's missing, though. But Yoshi will make it through one more turn. But again, he'll be under pressure. Another Riotous beating for 100 damage.
Riotous beating.
That threatens a knockout. It's going to force his hand once again. It's going to have to use Acerola or something like that.
Yeah. Yoshi now trying to find a way out of this mess. He sees his opponent only has 2 prize cards left, so every turn could be his last turn if he doesn't find a way out.
The Nest Ball was actually a pretty decent draw, I think, if he's got a Hoopa left in there. That's a 1 prize Pokemon he can send out, and it kind of alleviates some pressure. If he were just to Acerola and send out Wishiwashi, it would take another 100 damage, and he would be under pressure again to heal it off. But if you can send out a 1 prize Pokemon and just have it be knocked out, Pramawat goes down to 1 prize, then you don't need to have a Max Potion that turn. It gives you an opportunity to perhaps survive.
Right, would have loved to have Hoopa there, but looks like Giratina's going to have to do the job.
Don't think there are any Pokemon break in Pramawat's deck, so Devour Light not doing much, but it's just meant to be a roadblock here.
Yep, does have some fighting resistance working its way, so.
But also a weakness to darkness.
Oh, there's a double puzzle right there. Michael with a big draw.
Wow. Pramawat draws the second puzzle of time. And
Just
like you
needs to
said,
get
Kyle, I think that's it. He's going for his Kukui Choice Band and triple strong energy. Seems silly, but it gets there.
Yep, Michael took a math class and found out that this is going to work for him. Did game 1, is going to do it game 2, and finds the win.
Yoshi extends the hand. He knows, hey, I got beat. And that is Yoshi's first loss of the tournament. Gotta say, well played by Pramawat, but he did draw pretty well in that match. There were 0 turns where Yoshi got to breathe.
Yeah.
Just every single turn, attack, 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 Rockruff. And you gotta think it's a little frustrating for Yoshi. There were a couple turns